North Korea is normally the first thought that comes to mind when discussing totalitarianism. In 1910, Japan annexed the Korean Empire, which was ruled by a king. As Japan occupied Korea, they invested a lot of money into manufacturing to benefit off of the people they conquered. This resulted in the northern half of Korea being more advanced in manufacturing while the south is more agricultural. Korea, being a Japanese territory, did not have much contact with the Western world. But one thing from the Western world was able to make its way into Korea. That one thing would be Christianity. With the Koreans not liking that they were being ruled by Japan, came separatist movements. This involved rebellions by many revolutionaries, the most famous being a man named Kim Il-sung. After World War II, Japan was forced to give up its Korean territories. This land was then divided along the 38th parallel. The northern half was controlled by the Soviet Union, while the southern half was ruled by the United States. In 1948, Kim Il-sung was appointed by the Soviet Union to be the communist leader of North Korea. In 1950, Kim Il-sung convinced the leader of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin, to help them into invading and taking over South Korea. This was an attempt by the North to unify the two nations, while an attempt by the Soviet Union to spread communism. After the war, not much changed. At one point, the North was on the brink of victory until the United Nations and United States joined in, and then the South is on the brink of victory until China joined in. In the end, the border was just a bit farther north than where it was before. While the Soviet Union was in the process of removing policy from the Stalin era, Sung thought that was a terrible idea, and in response, he implemented Stalinism into his own nation. Early on, North Korea's economy was stronger than the South's due to the industry implemented by the Japanese during World War II. But by the 1960s, Korea still had the highest GDP per capita. But GDP per capita was growing significantly faster in the South. By the 1970s, South Korea caught up to North Korea. In the 1980s, North Korea's economy began to stagnate due to most of its imports and exports being to and from the Soviet Union, who was in the process of trying to rip itself apart.